let's jump into it. Let's see what's up, bro. What is up?
The beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the.
It's been a while, so.
In our defense, like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group.
Who would have thought Ian would be doing a content cop in 2025?
Ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have.
Oh boy, there it is. That was in the teaser. I wonder, was he kind of observing H3 and everything and decided to do this, or were they beefing behind the scenes and he decided to do the content comp? Either way, I'm hyped. By the way, do not smoke. Smoking is bad for you. Do not smoke. Unless it's that Zaza. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs. I kind of feel nostalgia.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles.
No,
boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because
he collaborated with Hassan Piker, dude.
Announcement. I finally done it.
Hassan
Abi.
Abi.
Ethan Klein's content nuke, and I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was
obviously
correct.
This is
an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the content.
Yeah, I can
and
tell.
Right
I wear glasses
too.
myself.
How did he know everything? How?
Good question.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Oh my god.
Ethan, wake up. Time to
this is fucking crazy.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up. Ethan, wake up. Wake up.
Oh my god, no way.
Wake up. Since anyone? Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, Ethan.
I was not expecting this shit, dude.
Content yet, chat.
I'm listening. The mobile's told
Like I thought, okay, I seen Hassan. I was like, all right.
wake up. Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up.
This guy got every content creator. We're just missing a couple of creators here. We're missing XQC. We're missing Trisha Paytas.
All right. I didn't
Jesus
plan
Christ.
on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, iDubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because
I was not expecting a content cop at all,
it's
dude.
It's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Jesus.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years. So Ethan, as you know, is a
As I said,
content
I
creator
used to
who
watch
has a podcast
the
where he
H3
says all
podcast and
sorts of
H3,
outrageous
but
stuff. Sometimes it's
periodically
fun,
from time
sometimes
to
it's
time.
fucked up. he's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers. You trans women. I say,
I'm gonna be honest with this Leftover show. Like the difference between Frenemies, which is his podcast he had with Trisha Paytas, which is crazy by the way, is that they would butt heads. But none of them had the patience to be like, okay, you know, obviously we're butting heads. It's difference. They would both clash, and that's why that failed. Not to say that Ethan kind of had patience with Trisha, because she was kind of the one to really, but Leftovers. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Hassan had a bunch of fucking patience. Like, I'm not saying that podcasts where both host or both co-hosts have different viewpoints can't exist, but in this case, I feel like it was Hassan who had a better understanding. Like, okay, I see where you're coming from. You're representing that ideal, but this is mine, and this is where we can agree to disagree, basically. But yeah, it just went down, like, it was crazy. Like they started off friendly and stuff like that, and then it would turn sour after, like, it didn't even last that long. But yeah,
it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, that dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East
Now
Jerusalem.
again,
The United Nations says that
Hassan is
crime.
from
It literally
Turkey.
is.
I was just eating the
Ethan
toppings.
is
The pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
Jewish,
I don't know if you can make
so
that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn.
I think it's a
Yeah.
good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, you know? We don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli. She served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer. So this is something they're very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has,
I think if it was any other topic, maybe they would agree to disagree.
Of his
but
position, because now he's talking about it, not on Leftovers.
It's a
he's now talking about it
it's a
on his
war
podcast.
between
What I
both
wanna do is
states.
show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that when you listen.
I
to
didn't
the song,
really
you hear all
see
these fucking
how.
like mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, like crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently.
Now, I'm not
Even though he
choosing
looks like
sides.
Millhouse
I didn't
with a
choose
dork.
sides.
Denims, by the
But
way, was the real
I
villain
think
of the
war
video.
overall
Evil,
is just
hateful fucking, and I'll say
stupid,
it and I'll double
but-
down on it. And people, oh no,
No,
did I not go there?
don't.
And it's all culminated, at least for my story, in Ethan burning bridges with people until
he
burned
did
the
he
bridge
did burn
with
bridge,
me.
but
Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to
I wonder
say.
what happened
Maybe if
between
Ethan's able
him
to get
and
some help,
iDubbbz, though.
maybe if he stops
That's what I
harassing
want to
other
know.
creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like iDubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this sweet stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism, and also he's way out of my weight class.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there. I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content, he liked Ethan's content, until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not...
That happens, okay? That happens where, I mean, I said it before the start of the video, like, I would watch I used to watch Hassan. I used to watch all of them, honestly, without bias. But I used to watch Hassan. It got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm not. Sometimes the way something's worded or the way he expresses one of his ideals, not saying like, hey, my ideals is right, everyone else's is wrong, but I just didn't feel comfortable continue to watch Hassan, so I stopped. There's, periodically times where there might be a clip of him, I'll watch it, I'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I agree. Just because you disagree on one topic doesn't mean you can't agree on others. But I feel like same thing happened with H3, with Ethan. I would watch, it would be funny, because he is, even though iDubbbz just said, like, Ethan, like, he's a goofy guy, obviously, Babe Nash, all that, like, yeah, he's capable of being a goofball, but there's some people, I feel like there's people that are goofballs all the time. It's like, yo, every time we get together, I'm gonna clown on you, bro. I'm gonna clown on you. Don't take it serious. Like, I don't take anything serious. There's those type of people. There's people who act like they're one of those, but really they take it to heart whenever they're the butt of the joke. And I feel like Ethan is one of those people who is not capable of being like, yeah, fine. Oh, see that tweet of Ethan Klein versus Hassan? He could have just easily let that go. He would have been like, oh, yeah, okay, I don't agree. It's not funny, but fuck it. Whatever. No, I feel like Ethan is the type of gaff guy, but when it's him in the middle of the joke, he takes it to heart. And then obviously, there's the people who obviously just can't take a joke at all. They have no sense of humor. But I feel like Ethan is one of those guys that when he is the butt of the joke, or like people are goofing and gaffing on him, he takes it serious, and then it gets to a point where the bridge is burned, and then it's like, no, I'm on this side and you're on the other side, which happened with obviously Hassan, iDubbbz, all that. But yeah, it's okay for you to watch 20 content creators, and if one kind of veers in a direction where you don't feel comfortable and you stop watching, maybe in a future you'll watch them and give them another chance. But it's okay. It's not your fault. Everyone has their own liking, their own whatever.
I'm not
but
gonna
yeah,
endorse it. I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just miss my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered colored.
Now that brings us to February 28th of this year. Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan, at some point, discovers that iDubbbz's former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila.
I feel
But
like
no
this
one's
happens a
asking the
lot
question,
in
where does Ethan get this information
with
from?
beef
You see,
in
it would
the
be very
creator space.
obviously a problem if
It's like,
Ethan
oh, if
was
you're
discovering
retweeting,
this
if you're
content
liking, oh,
by
then you're
scrolling through
aligned with
Twitter,
them.
looking for
That's
something
your
to
idea.
upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information, and that would be horrible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit when there's no work?
Again, in the content creation space, when there is beef, nowadays, if you retweet something, if you quote tweet something, if you like something, pretty much it's like you tweeted it. Like that's how it's treated. Like, oh, such and such retweeted. So it shouldn't be that way, but it is. So I can see how Ethan kind of like, oh, iDubbbz is, whatever. I can see how this all happened now. But yeah, iDubbbz does have a point too. Like, oh, they work for your podcast. They shouldn't be sending you triggering shit. Like, they should focus on. But at the same time, I can see like, okay, that is fuel for the fire. So content is content.
Being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place. If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the two podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless cowards.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubbbz's
That
feed.
is nasty.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine.
I think it's so easy for shit to get blown out of proportion or like.
What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty. I'm just not gonna throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not gonna throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia.
Then again, I like, it just depends on the person though. As I said, like iDubbbz has a point there. Like, yo, I'm not gonna burn bridges. I'm not gonna go against you just for one thing. But not everyone is the same. And it's on the internet, it's easy to be antagonized, and also people just don't give a fuck on the internet, basically. People just they want to see shit burn. Like, because it's entertaining for them, right? It's like getting one guide. Like, you might have people in your chat, in your comments, hundreds of comments. 99 can be positive and whatever, or agree with you. There's that one comment, that one guy that's like, hey, yo, check this out. And it's easier to get one guide, and they want to see that. And if you give in to that, maybe he's not he's just not you, man. He's not like you. He's not built like that to be like, to resist getting one guide or whatever. But iDubbbz, see, in this content cop, he's like, oh yeah, my editor did say some nasty shit. But did you say that just in the content cop, or did you express that beforehand on Twitter and stuff to let that be known? Like, I don't know. Because one thing it would be if iDubbbz addressed that before, like, yo, I don't necessarily agree with what he said. There might be some points. And then if Ethan continued to antagonize or add fuel to the fire, that'd be different. But I don't know.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you've said and done. And I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type of harassment I got was people
I
gaslighting
remember
me
that.
And taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I probably done and stood by iDubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional. Like, we're just meant to.
Does he think he has the green light?
Despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine.
I think he literally takes like content nuke literal. Like, hey, if the bridge is burned, I'm gonna char that shit. I'm not just gonna set it aflame. I'm not gonna put out the fire. I'm gonna char that shit, bro. Like, cause sometimes during a war, during like a back and forth or whatever, just because something you're not with something, in agreement with something, and you're like, okay, well, that bridge is burnt. Now you think you have the green light to use anything as fuel for the fire. So I'm not sure. Like, yeah.
And certainly, I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic. I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment, and I essentially empathize with that, and I think there's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and denims. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me,
it looks like he wanted you to
ultimatum
take
have a
allegiance to him
Could you not
publicly.
say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day
Right.
for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about
I didn't
Trisha
watch
having a kid and
H3
called
while
him,
this
like, the
shit is
spawn of
happening, so
Satan.
I have
He was
no
supposedly on
idea.
our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was
Well,
disgusted
actually,
by that statement too. I remember
never
when
said
he
I-
called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything.
And
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't gonna cheer that on. That's
Why
disgusting.
do we forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn
Never.
of Satan?
It's disgusting.
And
a
I
piece
mean,
of
But it
shit
is-
of a
it
human.
is
it's just incredible
stupid if-
who ends up being the good guys.
Yo,
in this story, you
what's
know?
up, brother?
It's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it. Huh. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
It's just
Yeah.
incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're
Also, that is crazy because, like, even like Trisha and Moses, if I remember correctly, Moses is Hila's brother. I believe Trisha and Moses, they're a thing, so they had a baby. So like, it's kind of weird, but it is the same situation, and it is kind of crazy if you don't speak out on it that you would. Yeah, it is kind of hypocritical. It is.
trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet. Unlike Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay?
Now,
Olivia did
is
not
he
do
saying
anything.
that?
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee to get that treatment? Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people making it hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people.
Yeah, imagine, right? You wouldn't. Am I right? I'm right? I'm just saying. Right? Am I wrong? Like that is weird. Instead of being like, you know,
Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing. Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus. Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not like my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh yeah, and our other good friends.
but even
Yeah.
even
Anissa
if
and Ian.
let's say
Thanks,
they
Anissa,
watch
for
this,
standing up for your
even if they watch this content cop, like, what are the chances they're gonna be like, you know what, they're gonna speak up against it? You know, I think they're gonna watch it and they're gonna be like, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. Actually, da 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 da. Like,
Girl, I actually stood up for you so many times. Cause like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not? I mean, if that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Of course I was gonna stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years
I
old
have no
to
comment
kill Americans.
on that,
Do we have
honestly,
that one?
because
Just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So,
The problem.
okay, if you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new friends.
it's kind. It is. I have to just. I just have to say it again. Like, it just seems stupid. Like if they didn't speak out or say or basically echo what these people have been saying, and you're just playing victim and saying like, oh, then you're one of them. That, like, it sounds like ridiculous, honestly. Like, I would understand if they were like, even a retweet or saying like, yeah, they have a point, and I'm a continue to follow them. But if you're not saying nothing, I don't know. There's some people, like, I was brought up, right? Whereas, like, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Or if you have nothing to contribute, just whatever. Or, like, let it be known or not. Like, if you don't, then you're not part of it, right? You're not a part of it. But, like, for people to drag you into something because you don't voice your opinion or you don't kind of choose alliances or allegiances or like choose a side, we live in a time where it's like, no, you have to choose a side. You have to be either a Democrat or a Republican. You can't be just none, or it has to be this way or that. It has to be black or white. It can't be, it's like, we don't, like, what is life anymore, bro? Like, these times are crazy. It's like, oh, Democrat or Republican? No, Israel, Palestine, or this or that. Oh, China or US, or what happened to, like, leave me out of it, or like, I'd rather not talk, or I don't care, or like, are we not allowed to just like move back and not even have? It's like in politics, like, oh, I don't want to vote because fuck it, like, that's crazy. And then it's like, no, you're wrong, you're bad because you don't vote. You should vote because blah 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 blah. Like,
she's friends with people like
is it just me?
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I'll
she's
show.
friends with
Denims
them
is actually participating in this whole child protective service lie.
Yeah.
Which I'll
and if
show you
you're
guys
friends with
instead.
them, then you're saying what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, we are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people?
Yeah, this
at their
is
core?
crazy.
People can have crash outs.
This is crazy. It's like you have two friends, two best friends, right? You have a group, two best friends, and it's like, oh, your two best friends start beefing. Oh no, it's either him or me. It's like they put them in an ultimatum. Like me personally, as I said, I used to watch H3. I used to watch Hassan. Okay, I don't watch both anymore. I don't even watch one or the other. I'll be honest with you. After the Israel Palestine, I'm not like, yeah, I free Palestine, free Israel. No, none of that. I'm like, yo, war is stupid in general. Okay, fuck it. You're fighting over land. Like, let's just fucking live. Let's coexist. Like, why? Just war is just dumb. Okay, but just because you're a victim of something doesn't give you the right to just shit on and do the same. It's not an eye for an eye, okay? We don't live in fucking Hammurabi's law is something that we learned in history class. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. No. Two wrongs don't make a right. So that's my belief, right? So I used to watch Hassan, and Hassan was supporting Rogan and Denims and whatever the heck. And then they went on stage. They started doing all this shit. And I was like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with that shit. That's a little too extremist for me. Like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I watch Ethan's reaction in H3 podcast, and he's like the polar opposite on the other. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna step back from you too, because fuck that. I don't, both. At what point do people are like, okay, no, it's always like one side is like, no, that side is wrong. And then the other side is like, no, that side is wrong. Like, why can't we just step back and admit, you know what? I was wrong on this, but you were wrong on that. Yeah, okay, I can, And like, Jesus, man. Troubling times.
People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention. I don't know. I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more fucking nasty to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking, you're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the base of my cock, or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody, and, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ends.
Why even fucking drag
them
into it, though?
Doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, oh, he doesn't work with us anymore. But that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay, do you have anything else to say for your friends, though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify...
That is not Ian's editor. That's someone Ian hired before CC2, who did some editing, but isn't working for Ian anymore, and hasn't for a long time. I think that's pretty clear. I think this is pretty clear. This is enough to be like, okay, he's just someone he hired. He no longer is a part of Ian's circle. That would be like someone from H3 podcast being like, okay, we're gonna part ways, and then starting to have different ideologies than the H3 podcast. You don't have to be like, listen, he just worked at the podcast, but we don't agree with his. That's extra, man. It's
Your
clear
Reddit
that he's
is
not.
because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is, and they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck. Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out. And then maybe we can find a moment in time, I don't know how long it'll be, but
I
a
agree.
moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now. But you've insisted that this is
But
an
also,
important thing to address.
Instead of making it public and just being like, oh, like you could have. I mean, I guess behind the scenes they did. They just gave Ian and Anissa an ultimatum. But like, I felt like it was not necessary. Like, this is all could have been avoided. Like, okay, you give him an ultimatum. Well, fine. I guess we part ways. Agree to disagree. But like, I don't know, man.
I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because I prefer to not do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
Like they say something like he doesn't work for me, and I strongly disagree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
The problem is that she doesn't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
She actually
She thinks they have a point.
With that statement.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl? This is what I'm talking about. This aggression.
Like, it's
you're
not
putting
that
out into
deep,
the
bro.
world. What the fuck do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response.
Also, the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure you hear this. Like, out in life, everyone is their own main character in their story. So, like, for instance, in my life, for me, in my inner circle or my friends, I don't have friends. I only have family. But let's say in your inner circle, something might be of so much importance to you, but it might not be as important to everyone else. But to you, it is, right? So, is it fair for you to be like, listen, this is very important to me. It has to be as important to you. At that point, like, no, you just cut them off. If you feel that way, cut the person off. Cut the person off. Just be like, listen, pause or like, listen, man, maybe we're not as, it's okay to part ways, man. You don't have to be like, listen, this has to matter to you as much as it matters to me. Because, like, if something gets to that level, whether it's friends, relationships, even family, bro, just go your separate ways, man. It is not that deep.
To what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing. But It happens, and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people. Let's think about it on a micro level.
You can't
Have
fight
ever been
fire
in a
with
comment
fire.
section and found someone to argue with?
Or you can't
It
put out a
doesn't
fire
stop.
with
It can
more
literally
fire
go
and
on
fuel. I don't know.
forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like you.
But also another thing, the internet is so vast, right? Everyone has, like, if you're on the internet, if you're a content creator, if you do streaming, podcasting, YouTube, whatever the heck it is, the internet is so vast that you have your corner of the internet it's not even like 1% of the internet, bro. Okay? Like, everyone does different content. Everyone that does streaming does different things, okay? It's not like there's a blueprint of like, okay, first, it's not like a 9 to 5 where you clock in, everyone has the same job, the same responsibilities that they got to do, and then they clock out and that's it. Like, if you join my stream and you join someone else's stream, we're going to be doing two different things, okay? That's just the internet. That's just the way it works, okay? So it's not like you have to clock in and talk about a certain topic and then like everyone else that streams has to do the same thing or talk about the same thing. It's like, bro, you can talk about that, and if that is the community you want to garner, like cater to, or you want to farm, then do that. Stick to that. But don't think that I have to do that. Okay? If it's not what I want to do, I'm not going to do it. And just because I don't do it doesn't mean that I'm, you know, saying that I'm I don't care if you want to do that or talk about that, but that's you. Okay? That's your community. Go over there. Okay? I don't have to cater to whatever you want to watch, or I'm going to do my own thing. And if you align, if you agree, if that's what you like, if you can connect and relate, then welcome. If not, too bad. There's so many content this space is so saturated that whatever you believe in, whatever you like, you will find. Just because you don't like someone that you tune in or whatever. Again, if I had a community, not that I have one right now, but if I have a community, I'm not gonna send or hate raid someone and be like, yo, they have these ideals. Go fucking spam hate, or go spam like, hey, you're a piece of shit because you don't agree. It's like, bro, just don't fucking tune into them. Bro, go watch someone else. What?
You're the H3 podcast, okay? There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay?
I'm
That
sure
is so
Ian
bizarre
after this
and
is like,
insulting
well, I made
to
the content
suggest
cop. That's
that
all I have to
was
put on the
only
table.
ever being friends
That's it.
with you
I'm moving on.
to get something out of it. No, I'm friendly with you, and I'd say I'm a light friend because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years, and as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
As I said, it's
Who else?
okay if you
Who
don't
else do we wanna
agree
burn
with
today?
who else do we want to burn today? You're making it
Something.
so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness,
that's
I
fair.
am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be anti-racist. Everybody's anti-racist.
Mhm.
Racism is the worst thing in the world, right? We fucking hate racists. Fuck racists.
Microaggressions.
The minute that they actually have to stick their neck out for somebody, the minute they have to actually risk something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care if you're?
Yeah, but like again, as I said, and I'm reiterate and echo. Nobody has to tell you, hey, if you say this about this group or this demographic of people, that's racist. Like, you just know, hey, if you say this, it's wrong, right? If let's say that group of people tell you, do it to you, and it's like, all right, well, I'm a victim of that. I'm gonna go ahead and go do that back to them. That don't make you right just because you were the first victim. It's like, bro, you can't fight a fire with fire again. Like, I'm gonna stay out of it. Fine. You know what? Y'all both wrong. y'all both wrong. You were racist to him. He was racist to you. Just because I'm not saying it, just because I'm not saying anything, doesn't make me part of your group, and I'm not part of your group. You're both wrong. You guys figure it out. It's fine to just stay away from it. Be like, yo, I didn't say anything to either of you, so y'all it's all right, man.
Isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt and you're kind of like dancing around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something, and it's saying, fuck you, you guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad. You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not, you know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black students and...
I mean, why is it inspiring? Why is it inspiring?
Well, and it's the same thing, to bring it back to the song just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely. Harassing one person and seamlessly transitioning
Either you're
into
against
harassing
me,
another
I mean,
one.
you're with
If
me or
anyone's
you're
been
against me.
watching for the past fucking year, I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hassan.
Like, people like Anissa are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming.
She's friends
this
with
story
you
about
guys
our
too.
kid getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry. I'll accept this take, this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming. which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims? Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creators. You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
Yeah, just for
But
saying
that would be commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself that saying, hey, their house is clean, they're, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your fucking lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck. It's not my business.
Right.
That's, in my opinion, doing something that's
Yes, it
difficult
does.
and standing by your principles. That's the whole point. That's what makes standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are? I get, like, we're a little bit past direct.
That would be like me walking out of my apartment, right? And seeing someone on the street and be like, I'm not a racist. And also, I think this. If you don't agree, then that means you're the opposite. Who the fuck does that? Absolutely no one. It's like, listen, I'm gonna go about my day, okay? Unless something happens that kind of instigates the topic at hand, and then you make it clear what your stance is, and I make it clear what my stance is, or whatever, then, but like nobody goes out of their way to be like, hey, I'm announcing that this is what I think, this is what I feel, and blah, 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 blah. Like, and if you think otherwise, then you're the enemy. It's like, why? Like, why? Why? I don't know, man. I feel like, again, I'm not that I'm antisocial, but I'm socially, I don't want to really say awkward, but I don't know. I have social anxiety, okay? Which is why I don't really feel comfortable out in public. I don't have friends. I don't socialize. I don't have a social life. So I don't know, but maybe it's just, I don't know. I don't have enough experience to be like, yo, maybe it does matter. But I don't know.
Directly naming me, so we might have gone off on a tangent. If you maybe accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey, what are your principles? And I can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles. Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because
befriend, discuss,
this is like
social
as bad
media,
as it
what?
gets. If you're following Frogan, that can only mean that you're anti-Ethan. Oh, this is not a good start. Love of the H3 podcast. You are following Frogan, so that means that you are anti-Ethan. Sam,
Ooh.
Morg Pie, friend of the show. Olivia, Ian, Daily Dose of Internet is anti-Ethan. Jesus, this is fucked up. Pokimane, comment etiquette. Oh shit, Asmongold's in here? Asmongold follows Frogan? No, Asmon. That means you're...
I wouldn't be surprised if this is addressed in the H3 podcast and they actually say that list of people are against, because he is making a point right here.
You're anti-Ethan. That's fucked.
Like, bro, I swear everyone has skeletons in their closet. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm pretty sure you can deep dive and find at a certain point people have said some outrageous. I know Asmongold, perfect example. Okay, he said some shit. Everyone online has said some shit at some point where it's like, whoa, that you, hey, whoa, right? But like, let's say Asmongold, apart from, I mean, he's basically the opposite of Hassan online with his political views, right? I know right now they're kind of like button heads or whatever, or against each other, but just because you watch Asmongold doesn't mean, like, you could be a fan of World of Warcraft and watch it. I don't know if he plays World of Warcraft anymore, but you could be a fan of that. Doesn't mean you align with his political views, or like, I don't know. Like, it can be anything of any creator. But yeah, he's making.
Avoid these creators at the top of the list, but one tier below them are the creators who associate with them. They're essentially endorsing all of their statements. You got me, you got Anissa, I think Hassan's in there. You'd think that Hassan would be
For sure,
on the top
Hassan's
of
on
the
there.
BDS list, but that's not the case. Hassan provides additional value for people. Ethan can turn a blind eye to people collaborating with Hassan because that's what he did. You got to be the lowest of the low to be associating with the Frogans and the Denims of the world. To associate with Hassan, that just makes sense because he's famous and he's got a massive fan base. Also, Ethan still follows Hassan on Instagram, so Hassan is in his feed.
And that's showing up right up on Anissa's and iDubbbz's feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day.
Yeah,
you have this other tier of creators that exist below Hassan but are still anti-Ethan, but Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that Ethan stays silent when these powerful
Anyone who has been a guest on Hassan Piker's stream is on this list here.
popular men are supporting Hassan, it's because Ethan is a coward. He's a bitch-made coward. I think Ethan has an unreasonable
I wouldn't go as
amount of
far as
respect
saying
for these
coward.
comedians because they have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't.
But they do say if you're online, okay, if you're a content creator, you need thick skin. Okay. You need thick skin. I feel, again, I said this in the beginning of the stream, I'll say this now. You can go get into content creation and you can act like you have thick skin and you're tough and you won't take anything to heart, but the truth always comes out, right? So if you're just acting and you don't actually develop that thick skin, it's gonna get to you. It's gonna get to you. And I feel like Ethan is someone who acts like he has thick skin when in reality, a lot of the negativity against him penetrates and he takes it to heart. So that's what I remember. I used to watch it like when he used to do like a content nuke, right? Or like even the OG H3 channel on YouTube, if you used to watch them way back in the day. Like he used to do videos against like Leafy and all that, where it was kind of like goofing and gaffing and kind of bullying, borderline bullying bullies, or, you know, people like Leafy. And I remember him saying like, oh, I stopped that type of content because it made me feel bad. It made me feel bad. I didn't really like doing that against people. And it's kind of like he came to terms with that, right? But now it's like, and I just don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
Fuck with his ideology. But he's going to keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover is that people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
Bill Burr came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr, ruined my life. Bill Burr made Ethan go on Lexapro. I was prescribed it, and it was.
I'll be honest with you, Bill Burr is the type of guy that wouldn't fucking care. He would have Ian's perspective on the whole thing. It'd be like you'd listen to Hassan and his ideas and his thoughts and his feelings about the whole war thing. Listen to Ethan's, and then he'll be like, "Just fucking agree to disagree and just move on." Like, what the fuck? It doesn't even fucking matter. Like, what matters is, and then he'll just name like something that really doesn't fucking matter, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you know what? Just it's not that deep, man."
It was in my bedside, and then it was the Bill Burr episode that made me finally start.
When Stavros goes on Hassan's stream and he mocks your content nuke,
I actually saw a really interesting video about you, man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh no!
It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah,
you kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that, and I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah,
and so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming.
you don't fire back because you're coping. So you're just gonna tuck your tail between your legs.
Yeah, but Stavros, if he were to go on the H3 podcast, he would kind of goof on like the content nuke, like he would crack some jokes about, you know, why Ethan would make it on Hassan or like whatever. Like, see, like I feel like they're in their bubble of just hurt and whatever, and it's like
legs and never mention on your podcast that mentions everything.
I'm not
You're
gonna pause
bringing up
anymore because I
some
feel
fucking
like
connection I have
I'm
on
just
Twitter. Someone mocks you on a
regurgitating.
stream, you're not touching it. Fuck you, you're a coward. It's just his job. It's just what he does for his job. You know, he doesn't mean it. We're actually good friends. You know, he makes fun of everyone. It's not just me, right? Oh, also, I can't forget about Matt Lieb. Matt Lieb is in this like middle tier. His valuable association is Rhett and Link. So Rhett and Link, conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with. Although he's sniffing around.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning. Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning. Well, this guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome, and he's bringing on somebody that wants to kill my wife, or in a video game. And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired. He's pathetic. And he interviewed a fucking, basically a terrorist.
I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place, is because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to attack, he thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to, and I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
So here's the button. You've got a video, and you've got an audio. We're hitting both.
Oh boy.
Yes.
There's no point.
Let's leave.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Oh my god, and it's still going?
Don't worry if you don't have it all now. All gone in 2 weeks. I don't like pedophile. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach. You'll be living with your parents.
Oh my god, we're still in February.
Yes, please. I want to be a good Jew. I'm a good Jew. Please, guys, please.
That was fine. Yeah, I don't think it was that
was fine.
big a deal. Of all the things that
Anywho.
it always surprises me what you think crosses the line.
Well, I looked at Olivia and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he could change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Ela were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
I remember in this era of the H3 podcast, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was tough to kind of consume, honestly. Because I would watch as a fan of the podcast, and I would be like, ooh, when there was an episode without Hila or like a kind of like a co-host, it was kind of hard for me to consume the content because even when there is a co-host or like Dan is in the background kind of filling in that role, Ethan would say something unfiltered that it's like, yo, you don't know when you cross the line, Ethan. You gotta, bro. And then he would be like, really, guys? Like, I didn't cross the line. And people would be like, yo, that was kind of unhinged. And he would be like, no, man. And then he'll continue. And it was kind of like, ugh, okay. Tough pill to swallow, but, and then after that, it was kind of like, I
His
couldn't.
jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But okay.
You
what? Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's unique in hitting the button. I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it, you operate differently. You think about what you're saying. You maybe plan for your show.
Trust me, not Ethan.
You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground for today. You instead say, ooh, it's important that we stay on topic. Also, the H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself goblin mode.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you did.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
To all victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
You are goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm trying,
video.
bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew. I think the crew
It is kind of selective and convenient to choose when and
for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad. To be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way,
just don't listen. Your critique of her is correct. It's just, people are sensitive about women being called that word, and so
like, how pathetic are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I said I wasn't gonna pause, but it's kind of hard when you come up with another point that you want to make. I feel like not just outside of this, as a previous H3 fan, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I did touch on like his unfiltered, unhinged moments where it's like he doesn't know when he crossed the line, but his cast might or his co-host. A lot of the times it's Elo who would be like, Ethan, you crossed the line, and he'll be like, I don't agree, but fine. I feel like a lot of his cast, right, or the people working for him, like Dan is in the front lines. He's like the first barrier where it's like, Ethan, No, Hila's the first. Then it's Dan. Then it's like AB or no, it's I forgot his name. Ethan. I don't know. I think it's Ian. I don't know, but I feel like each member is kind of like if he doesn't agree with Hila on that on the goblin mode, then Dan steps in. And then if he bypasses Dan, then it's AB or whatever. It just felt that way. Like,
I mean,
well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck all these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm
mind.
not yelling at you. I'm just.
Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Maziel is a
Korean.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I don't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POs. God.
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
The one time the button didn't work and we listened to how he spoke to AB without thinking that the internet was going to hear it, it was rude, it was nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger, and it was uncalled for.
Use they get access to cover most of it.
We're doing it.
What are you
Making it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I was just talking about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it?
You guys, like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off the. What? Okay, well.
Heard all that.
Thanks, button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
The button fucked you? AB fucked you? Who fucked you? You fucked yourself by being an asshole. He makes it seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
We're doing it.
What are
Making
you
it
doing?
so awkward and terrible. I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you
done,
do,
and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke, Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
People saw that. They thought that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up
type
that photo. So I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that. God forbid.
It's okay because I buttoned it.
Why?
Ah.
It's not that big of a deal, man.
Just
Like,
your
how
inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan. How does it change anything? People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay. All right.
You know,
It
I
is
understand
awkward,
That that's his role,
like-
and he's, you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job. Ethan leans on it so heavily, in the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people to be adults and look after his behavior.
Yeah. I feel like I agree with everything, and also, yeah, like there's no disputing that. I feel like if it was full of enablers instead, there would be no button. There would be no pausing. There would be no clarification. There would be no like, hey, this is, you know, none of that would be a thing. But I'm telling you, it is.
And give all of this emotional and empathetic
It's valid.
energy for Ethan, but Ethan refuses to give it back to them. Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, two Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
Hezbollah in Syria alone killed double that much.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hassan talking about bad empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important that he dumps. We're all familiar with Goblin Mode, Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
What makes demon mode different than goblin mode is
Okay, this is new shit. Like I barely knew about goblin mode, but demon. We'll get into that right now. But I have kind of a question. I don't know, because as I said, I don't watch the podcast anymore, but I do know, like from previous. I know AB has been an employee for basically the inception of the podcast, right? AB is known as well for streaming Starkiller. But do you think I'm asking not them or anything, but do you think if you watch the podcast, if you are an H3 fan, if you're not, whatever, I'm just asking you guys, do you think, because obviously Hassan had the podcast, they're on separate opposing views of it. It got out of hand. Hassan was like, you know what? Let's leave it here. And then whatever. Do you think AB is an employee? Obviously, he gets paid. Do you think if AB was set up and set up well, or had like the podcast wasn't like he can do like a better living streaming or whatever the heck, he would leave? And if so, do you think Ethan would then be on opposite sides of AB, even though he worked in the like, you know what I'm trying to ask? I don't know. I feel like maybe
goblins aren't really like
what
an
is demon
intimidating,
mode
powerful
though?
force. If the goblin is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic.
I was an
rich
avid viewer
asshole
at that
thing.
time.
You have a deficit
so-
of friends. You have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad. You feel hurt. But you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power. You have a ton of options. You have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but
So is Ian saying that Ethan went from underdog to becoming one of them, or
like, at what point? Like, at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, no, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being
Pedophile. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite. There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy
Online.
now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
You have so much less to go off of saying that
Oh
than
no,
anybody
I was
has
just saying
about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just based on his
Well, at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
no
One of
comment?
the more notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Sampson.
I have nothing but vibes to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're going to be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I mean, the way he's talking about Noah on his podcast is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
So he's a rape. So of course his standard. I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say. But
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
you are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah
Yeah.
Sampson, as far as I know, is not a rapist.
Fuck you to Noah Sampson, who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning
Allegedly.
Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think Ethan is just, I don't know. There's people who are open to some things. I think Ethan is like hard, like, no, you can't convince me. It doesn't, like, obviously he is. But if I remember correctly, I remember when I used to watch H3 podcasts, there was a moment where Ethan and Steven Crowder were, I don't want to say beefing, but didn't Ethan get Sam Cedar to kind of jump into a call and kind of get at Steven Crowder, and Steven Crowder ended up ending the call? If I remember correctly, maybe I'm wrong, but
Most Jews
I don't think Jews
this
at
is
large
crazy.
view it. I don't think that is the.
In what position are you to even say that?
It's not
speak for my
motivated by
entire ethnic
myself. It's
group.
motivated
That's
by
crazy to me.
Jews against anti-Zionist
No,
Jews.
seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking tell you. This is like step one of having a leftist ideology, is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences as people.
That's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm.
yeah. Here, I feel like, obviously, Hassan took it as, even though I don't watch either or anymore, I feel like he's like, okay, I can't get through to you. Okay? Agree to disagree. For me, debates are fucking pointless, right? Because, first of all, if I'm in a debate, you're not going to convince me. I'm not going to convince you. Let's just agree to disagree. There's no point in having a fucking debate, right? So I feel like Hassan is aware of that. Hassan's like, there's no convincing you to see my point of view, or you're definitely not going to change my point of view and convince me, right? And you're not willing to, even though you agree to disagree, like, you're not willing to be like, you know what, I see your point, but I'm good here. I'm good here. I'm good thinking and feeling this instead of that. Okay. Like, there's no getting through. I know that's what Hassan realized, and that's why he's like, you know what? Talk to this person who's part of your community, who is open to agree to disagree, at least. maybe he can give you some points where he can make it easier for you to understand where I'm coming from. Because, as I said, not taking sides on the whole whatever. Obviously, Hassan is like, oh yeah, you guys did this to my people, right? Ethan is like, no, your people did this to my people, right? I'm saying, well, from an outsider, yeah, both did stuff to each other, people, right? Doesn't make it right, right? Maybe one side is worse than the other. I'm not gonna say I really don't know much on the topic, but it's not that, there's people. I'm not really gonna talk about the topic because that's outside the point, but I just feel like it's that. Like, Ethan is not open to being like, okay, fine, I agree to disagree. I can see some points that you're bringing up. Yes, my people. I feel like if you don't agree fully 100% with Ethan, he's just gonna be like, no, he shuts it out. He's like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. No, 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 no. You can bring up all the evidence, all the, on the contrary, but if you're not like 100% with him, he just shuts it off. That's what I feel.
I'm not Jewish.
But I don't know.
Said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that.
And also, I feel like Ethan, a lot of the times, like with this conversation or other interviews or when he brings on a thing, he's very biased. I feel like you have to be unbiased when you're interviewing or painting a picture or whatever, or reporting, right? As a reporter, you have to be unbiased. You can't go into an interview you just got to be like, okay, you got to sometimes ask questions to push back just to see, right? Just to get some things out of the subject, But I feel like Ethan, when he does reporting or he does interviewing, it's to paint his narrative and his picture instead of just the general. That's what I feel.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch. She's a fucking bitch. You're right. I call her a see you next Tuesday.
Listen, you have.
I'm curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's for the girlies, Ethan. But I
So
agree.
you guys all seem to be in consensus that it's in poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm gonna have to pass.
The
on
fact
saying
that there's a poll
The
is
infantilization of
crazy.
Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He is absolutely capable of looking into Hassan, learning about his politics, interviewing, doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats. Not whatever this was. This comment from Hassan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
You made how many episodes with Hassan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the
Yeah.
biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were. Bro, I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, what, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until, Ethan talks about being aware of Hassan's 9/11 comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as...
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
Now, to be clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time we made the show together, because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two. That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this case, American imperialism and terrorism. You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hassan a little bit more and found out what his international politics opinions are. But you wouldn't even need to do that. You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't tricked. You made 60 some odd episodes. If you didn't want to go down this route, you shouldn't have done it. But that was your fucking choice. You did it. You are an adult. When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, they cannot wrap their heads around the idea.
No single person represents all Jews.
I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
No single person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews.
This is another weird thing.
Oh
Israel
my God.
Israel, this is a lie that I see Hassan and people pander. They say that Israel's going to war on behalf of Judaism. They have never, I don't believe that that's ever been stated. And I don't think Israel ever explains that it's like, I think Israel says it's a place where Jews can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that slogan, we might actually have peace. You know, if that's all you're defining Israel as, is a place Jews can go. Like, sure, it sounds like America to me. Like, all right.
I don't think that Israel said they represent all Jews. I don't think that's a stance. We're like, hey, displacing Palestinians is all Jewish people.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, he's making a semantic argument. Like, I don't think Israel has said that it represents every last Jew on the planet. I don't think Israel has claimed that.
Yeah.
They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together, so when they're being criticized, all of a sudden, they have the perfect defense. Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list.
Yeah,
it was presented at TwitchCon as like a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun. And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi.
Now, I'm on the fence on this one. I am. Because, maybe he took it to that extreme. But also, why is this even on the state? Like, why? Like, this shouldn't have been a thing. On TwitchCon on stage, that shouldn't have never happened. That honestly, but I want to say I don't either agree or disagree, but I'm
being who can't.
And also, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. Like you got like a white guy who's like, can I say it? Is it a slur? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list. Granted, Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural word amongst Arabic-speaking people
Yeah.
and Muslim people. Like that is a word that's used. Habibi, it means my love. Oh no, don't do that, Habibi. Oh yes, Habibi. You're my Habibi, I'm your Habibi. So yes, it's meant to be a fun way that these Arab content creators can express their Arab culture and be proud of it and happy about it. Because it's not like they have massive...
Yeah, but again, I get it, but like that would be like, for instance, I'm Dominican, okay? You're like, I wasn't born in Dominican Republic. I was born here. My roots come from the Dominican Republic, okay? If you go to DR, sometimes you hear, oh, the Dominicans and the Haitians, oh, they're clashing. They're at, you know, they have differences. That would be like a group of Dominicans, like Phantom, and a group of Dominicans being like, this would never happen, by the way. I don't think so. But imagine they're on TwitchCon on stage and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is Platano coded, and this is like fucking I don't know anything of Haiti, and not that it. No offense, I'm not insulting anyone, but I'm just saying, like, why take it there? It would be like, I don't know,
representation on the platform.
Making a tier list based on race. And nobody has a fucking problem with that. Okay, you have a tier list based on race. Where's the Jewish panel? Where's the Jewish panel?
it's kind of like, let's say, I mean, I again, I can see what Ian is saying, because it's like the Breakfast Club, right? Charlemagne says, "Oh yeah, that's mayonnaise." Like, "Oh, that's mayonnaise," meaning, "Oh, it's like white, whatever." Like, it's, yeah, I get it, but like, there's no need for it. Like,
the top it says Jewish. It's a tier list based on Arab to Jew. He's Arab, which is good. That's the best thing you can be on this. That's the best. This is racist.
I will say that conveying information through a tier list is not the most effective thing, but Ethan should understand this principle. He did a white slurs tier list with Hassan.
Cracker.
I mean, you know what my take is.
yeah, this is
We
like,
can't put this as an F. Cracker. I mean, that's got to be at least a D, right?
Pale face motherfucker.
Pale face. I mean, again, I think that's an F. Hog.
So hog is my favorite. I use it all the time.
Him and Hassan feel as though they're white guys, so they felt very comfortable talking about white slurs on their tier list.
I think I'm more white than you. What do you think?
I think I'm white. Like, I'm super white.
Can you understand why Arabs might feel comfortable talking about Arab shit on their tier list, Ethan? You're the white guy.
It's
you think
it's
you're more
fair.
white than Hassan.
I think I'm more
Personally,
white than
I
you.
wouldn't
yeah,
do
the
it,
white
but
guy can say all the things that he wants, like cracker. But the Arabs can't have their tier list.
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish
think he's
people
done
are
enough.
different.
Notice how
I guess it depends. I just don't think at this stage it should be, I don't know. Like, if you're doing that on your stream, fine. But why is it on a grand stage like TwitchCon? I don't know. Like, it just depends the person. Like, I wouldn't do this. Again, I wouldn't do this like Platano coded, Platano power coded. No, I wouldn't do that. But like, XQC wouldn't do it. Right? XQC is like, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Fuck it. I'll do other tier lists. I don't care. But I wouldn't. Like, it just depends the person, I guess. But like, I
they
don't
drop
know,
the premise
man.
almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi, and then it's like Hassan.
Why
okay,
go
actually,
there?
He's Arab. We fucking
Is
love
my
him. He's
point.
dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole
It
thing
is.
is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people underestimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like,
We say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist.
If you're not Arab or understand Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just going to eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture. There's a lot of Arabs who eat sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store, and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good
I
shit.
love it
Like,
too,
the average
man.
Arab
But
American, they're gonna go in the store and the only option they have is fucking sabra, and that sucks. That's the only option, right? Arab communities and distribution facilities are not widespread across the U.S. So what are they left with? They're left with a common, relatable, shitty hummus, which is sabra. And what's so fucking pathetic about this whole thing is after he was able to get these Arab creators banned off of Twitch for 30 days, he goes on to talk about how bad sabra hummus is on his show.
I don't think anybody wants to prefer Sabra over homemade like restaurant quality hummus. You know, it's what's there.
Like weirdly
there's-
fluffy.
It is
Sabra.
fluffy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best.
again, I want to preface not saying that tier list like is like, I'm not Ethan level of like extreme like, hey, this is whatever the heck. I'm just saying like why like, you know, there's no need for it on something like TwitchCon. That's what I want to relate. Like that's I don't know. Whatever.
The problem is with
It's
Sabra, in my opinion, it's only good for the first 2 days.
For some reason, like when you eat this Sabra shit, it just feels so much heavier. Imagine eating a whole fucking vat of Sabra. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never liked hummus.
Oh, okay.
Well, you hate Jews then.
I don't.
And Arabs.
Yeah.
This is racist.
Yeah, it's almost like you can have a discussion about sabra hummus being a bad hummus without it being at all related to a Jewish thing or an Israeli thing. He can have that discussion as much as he wants on his podcast because we all know his intentions aren't anti-Semitic.
This is what he did. He hit his heart hard.
Uh-huh.
The Zionism is leading to not accepting other cultures, embracing their own culture, and instead thinking that that is an attack on you. There's this incident on the podcast where they were reacting to Cutie Cinderella, and
I remember
Ethan
this whole thing.
was laughing
Yeah,
during
that was
it. So that ended up
inappropriate,
being a
dude.
pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella, and it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle. And Ethan
didn't see
got
that
an
video,
A+
though.
rating.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know, he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score, a perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a
Right.
good apology. I'm
Right.
the best at
10
it.
out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't.
is
Where's
not
my perfect
cool,
apology on this
dude.
PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10.
This one is actually best apology. So
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
I was trying really hard to think about an impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed from an A to a B at least. So I went to visit Psychology in Seattle. I'm not confident that Kirk will change his grade, but it's worth trying. And, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Are you serious right now?
Xander. Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, iDubbbz, I hear you. You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And
Okay.
I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy.
Kind of a cop-out answer. I'm not gonna lie, kind of a cop-out answer, but also kind of fair. Because he's saying, listen, I'm unbiased. I just evaluate what was presented to me at the time. That's fair play. That's fine. All right, kudos to you. But then saying like, oh, if in the future you bring that to me, I would evaluate. Like, no, it's okay to say, listen, at the moment, it was an A+, but considering all the actions afterwards, that's like going to court, right? That's like going to court and the judge he rules in your favor. And then you go outside and you boast like, hey, sarcastically, like, hey, technically the judge said I was innocent, but really, shit. And then you just like keep doing that. At a certain point, it's like, yes, the judge did rule that you were innocent, but we all know you're guilty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you make it like OJ. I know it's kind of crazy using that analogy, but yeah, like, at what point from Ethan apologizing, yeah, it was a good apology. Okay, maybe she accepted it, maybe she chose not to, but then afterwards boasting about it and being like, hey, my apologies, 10 out of 10, A+, 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 A. It's kind of like, all right, it's kind of getting to a point of sarcasm. Like, were you really genuine about it, or did you just do the apology to kind of get her approval and not blow, like, kind of mediate, like, kind of do like damage control? Because like at some point I kind of feel like it's like I got away with it, but I don't care that I hurt their feelings. But I'm good at apologies. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade, but that's okay because this is the internet. Anyone can have their own official apology rating system. So I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own rubric. When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of Ethan, he said that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have.
Again, it's kind of like two kids fighting in the playground and then a parent grabbing their child and being like, apologize to that boy now. And then that kid apologizes to the boy, whatever. Right? And it's like, whatever. They're forced to high five or like dap up and make up, whatever, and go their separate ways. But then the kid that just got scolded and apologized is like, I apologize. Okay? I might not talk to that kid ever in my life again, but did you see me fuck up that kid? Like, it's like that.
Been and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret. Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid, but I also think at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human because he is human, and he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy,
Oh
when you're
my
being
God, he
silly,
wasn't lying
when
about
you are
getting everyone.
being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure
Isn't
that I
this the
used to watch.
H3
Hope that
podcast
one day
song,
gets
like
back to
music
what I
too?
remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit. That was pretty fucked up, and fighting it, he changed YouTube for the better, and I thought that was cool because I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neil. I'm like, fuck, like
They actually
it's
fucking
really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right?
I don't
Sometimes
know
that makes it
if he's
worse for them.
actually.
I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more hold up. A feeling
We
of
haven't
almost
seen Hassan,
infallibility
but I'm pretty
that I
sure
can take
Hassan is gonna
anything
be like,
on.
"Yo, you
It
know
led
what,
me to
Ethan?
make
Like,
a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty, and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Damn. Interesting. Time reveals the truth. Time heals all wounds. Hopefully, in this case, time heals all wounds, all of Ethan's wounds, and everyone can agree to disagree and make up and go to their corners of the internet and move on instead of clashing heads and, taking sides. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just want people to know, like, okay, in any scale, hold on, give me a second. Actually, wait. If I add a window cap, actually, not window, do a display. Jesus, I disappeared. I fucking disappeared. Wait a minute. Okay, I just want people to know, right? The takeaway of the video is obviously in everything in life, there's a scale. There's a scale, okay? I haven't used MS Paint in such a long time, but like, let's say there's a scale, right? In politics, left, right, or or leftist conservative, or Democrat Republican, like there's a scale, right? This is like the middle, right? There might be some people over here, like extremely over here. There might be people here. There might be people here or there. Okay? If you're one of these people, just because this person is not where you are, doesn't mean that they're here. Okay? And for either of the people that are here, or here, no matter what it is, religion, politics, anything. For the people that are here, they're just here, okay? They're neither there nor there. Like, it sounds stupid the way I'm saying it, but it's just simple like that, okay? Like, these people are neither here nor there. Actually, these people are not even here. Most of the times, these fucking people are here. They don't want to be anywhere on this scale. So, in this case, this is Ian. iDubbbz. He's here. Okay? Ethan is here. Hassan might be here or in the middle. Okay? Just because Ethan and Hassan or Ethan and the people who support Israel and Hassan and the others are like whatever, it's unfair for oh Jesus Christ. It's unfair for someone that wants to be out here to have to choose or choose allegiance. Like, that's not the way life works. Like, most of the time, as I said, if something's important for someone that's here or here, it's not as important for someone that's here. And most of the time, people that are here in their own bubble, right? They're cool enough where they can understand you and understand your points without being anywhere on the scale. So that's the takeaway. It's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. Okay. But yeah, that was interesting. Now, what would be more interesting is seeing the reactions of the people who are a part of the video. Hassan's reaction, Ethan's reaction. But I guess, as I said, time heals all wounds and time reveals the truth. So if something's genuine, not genuine, only time will reveal that. So yeah, but that is it for reacting. Okay, we're moving on because it's not that deep. We're not gonna stay stuck on that. Okay. Also, another thing, more importantly, that I want to reiterate as well. As I said, I used to watch Ethan. I used to watch Hassan. I used to watch iDubbbz. Just because you watch one creator or another, or stop watching one creator or another, it's cool. Everyone is in control of their life. The choice is yours. And you should be comfortable with that freedom. So it's never okay to point fingers like, hey, you stop watching me, you're with that person now. You're wrong. You're the enemy. Like, it's me against the world. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, to their own whatever content they want to consume. Okay? It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. But yeah, okay. As I said, it is time to move on.